Hey, it's Tough Journeyman. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about my mistakes that I committed while doing the ketogenic diet for the first year. Now, I ended up actually doing the diet for an entire year and gaining 20 pounds instead of losing. But I am not saying this as a regret. I'm actually still happy that I discovered the ketogenic diet because to me, it is a good way of life for somebody who's like myself, suffering from morbid obesity and diabetes. I first discovered the diet while searching on YouTube for a diet that will cure diabetes. And I saw a lecture by Dr. Sarah Hallberg, and I also saw a presentation by Dr. Peter Attia. Both of these lectures, I think I found them on TEDx YouTube channel, or either TEDMed, or one of those TED channels on YouTube that have lectures by doctors, engineers, chemists, psychologists, and other professional people who are trying to educate the public about new discovery or things that can be helpful toward the general public. So anyway, when I watched that video and I started researching the ketogenic diet, I completely misunderstood some of their guideline or some of their advice, and because of that I ended up gaining 20 pounds in a year instead of losing. Now I'm gonna also stress out that I'm actually not exercising properly due to multiple body injuries that I have. I have an issue with my back, I have an issue with my left knee and my right ankle and my wrist. So my working out abilities are extremely limited. I'm not like an average person who's able to go to the gym and lift weight and do all these, exciting movement that will actually make you, carve up a proper body. So based on my experience, when I did the ketogenic diet for the first year and did everything unlimited, I ended up gaining weight. Now, mistake number one, in the ketogenic diet, they tell you to eat 70% of your calories, from fat. And in a lot of videos that I saw, I kept hearing them say, add butter to everything, add butter to your eggs, add butter to your chicken, add butter to your steak. So I ended up adding butter to my eggs, adding butter to my meat, adding butter to everything, and adding olive oil to the salad. But of course, I was not counting calories nor macros. So I ended up over-consuming the fat. So that was mistake number one. I over-consumed the fat. Number two, I misunderstood that ketogenic diet was a moderate protein diet, and I thought that it was similar to Atkins. So I ended up also eating unlimited protein. So I was eating too much fat without even counting, without calculating macros or calories, and I was also eating high protein with it. So in a way, it was not really a ketogenic diet. I was consuming high fat, high protein. Yeah, I was eating low carb, but again, it was way higher carb than what I needed. In the ketogenic diet, they tell you to eat about 5 to 10% max of your calories from carbs, and mostly, it should come from vegetables. I was eating plenty of vegetables, and again, I was not limiting it. I was eating tomatoes, which is high in sugar. I was eating plenty of onions and garlic with eggs and meat because it gives a great flavor and because it have antioxidants and other beneficial properties. But in reality, onions is high in sugar. So I was eating a high amount of vegetables, which is probably giving me too much carbs at the same time. So here are my mistakes. I ate too much fat, way higher than 70%. I ate too much protein, way higher than 25 to 30 to 35%. And I ate way high carbohydrate, more than 5 to 10%. So was I in ketosis? Not really. Was I following the ketogenic diet? I was trying to, but because of my misunderstanding to the macro issue and to the limitation, I overdid it, and I ended up overeating. I have the tendency of overeating because of past food abuse. Basically, you eat until you're numb, or you eat to comfort yourself or you eat to de-stress, or you eat because you're trying to feel better. And believe me, I paid the price. I ended up developing diabetes and, being morbidly obese for a long time in my life. So the food, and in the end, the comfort that the food used to give was extremely temporary, and it will always follow it with guilt and indigestion and just problems all over. So basically, my advice to anybody who's trying to follow the ketogenic diet and do it the right way is to calculate the macros that they consume every day, the amount of nutrition they're getting from the food. Now, a lot of time in the ketogenic community, they tell you that do not calculate calorie. If you are an overeater like myself, you really should calculate calorie. If you are a normal person who eats and stops before they're extremely full or before even they're full, then, if you don't count calorie, that's a different story. But my video is going to target people who are in my similar condition: overeaters, morbidly obese, diabetic, possibly emotional eaters, or people who eat to seek comfort in food. So my advice is to try to calculate your macros. There are a lot of applications that you can actually download on your smartphone, whether it's Android or Apple or on the computer, that will allow you to track your food and track your macronutrition. One of them is MyFitnessPal. It's an Android app, and I'm not sure if Apple offers it as well. It's a free app, and there is a paid version. Now, it's not perfect, but at the same time, it helps you stay, on track when it comes to tracking your food, whatever you eat, and, understand how much the fat that you took from this food added to your nutrition, how much protein, how much carb, and how much fiber, and sometimes how much vitamins and minerals. But in general, it is very important to track your food intake, and even if you want to call it calorie calculation. So the second advice is try to count calorie. They tell you not to count calorie, but from my hard paid lesson after doing the ketogenic for a year, when I overate because I didn't calculate calories nor macros, I ended up gaining 20 pounds in a year. But following the ketogenic diet, even when I misunderstood it, it did help my diabetes. Now, it didn't fix it. Now I'm doing better once I start actually calculating macros and calories. So that's an advice. If you have diabetes, if you are morbidly obese, if you're serious about weight loss, if you have a lot of weight that you need to lose, more than 50 pounds, then you definitely should count macros and count calories and, stick to that. Another advice that I should tell you is try to stay away from temptation. Don't sit on the table with people who are not following your diet, because there is always the bad temptation. You see it, you might crave it. But believe me, if you do the ketogenic diet properly and you get into ketosis and you start feeling satiated by the fat and moderate protein that you're consuming, you will lose all these cravings. I used to consume plenty of rice in my past, plenty of pasta, plenty of bread, and I was basically a carbohydrate addict. I was addicted to carbohydrates. It made me feel good, but it also made me go up and down with sugar. So that was one of the biggest problems that I had. Now, after a year and 4 months of not eating a grain of rice, nor a piece of bread, nor a string of pasta or any of that, I'm actually not craving any of those food at all. When I see them in the supermarket, I don't even consider them food. I just look at them and just keep walking. My food at this current time is basically greens, all greens, you know, that basically make the salad, whether it's lettuce, spinach, celery, parsley, cilantro, bok choy, these kind of green vegetables. And I eat meat in moderation, whether it's beef, lamb, chicken, turkey. And I also eat eggs and a small amount of cheese every now and then when I crave it. And I eat butter and olive oil and every now and then coconut oil. And I'm doing fine. I have no bad food craving. I don't crave any carbohydrate at all. I don't crave desserts. I don't crave any of the old comfort food that I used to indulge in and that got me sick. So if you do the ketogenic diet properly, you will really benefit from it as far as weight loss and not being a slave to food anymore. Because food now, yeah, you enjoy the flavor when the food is cooked good, but you're not a slave to the temptation and to the craving. You don't crave food and start, you know, looking for it like a drug addict. You just crave it. You plan your macros, you plan your food preparation, and you eat whatever you get. But in the end, you're not really desperate for satisfaction, because when you eat fat and when you eat protein, you're always satisfied and you're always satiated. Another advice that I will give in this video is that if you are serious about losing weight in the ketogenic diet, you must drink plenty of water. And that's one of the mistakes I've also done in the first year, that I was not drinking enough water. I was not drinking enough water. I was drinking very little, only when I feel thirsty. And they say that when you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So you should try to drink prior to that feeling. And I drink plenty of water nowadays, and I try to drink the water before the meal, and it will really help reduce the size of your stomach. And when you eat, you know, because you're eating less portion, you're gonna feel satiated and feeling fulfilled. Another trick for overeaters is basically eat with a smaller spoon. Also use smaller plates. It's a psychological thing. I may come up with different video ideas for, you know, more advice for the morbidly obese people, overeaters, people who have craving toward carbs and rice and starchy vegetables. Yeah, that's one thing I used to also eat in the past. I used to eat plenty of potatoes too in the past, prior to the ketogenic diet. So now I see potatoes, I don't crave it. I don't even look at it at all. It doesn't faze me. It doesn't bother me. So here is my video about the, you know, the mistakes that I've committed in the first year of doing ketogenic diet. And by the way, one of the reason why I ended up correcting my macros and figuring out my mistake is watching Dr. Eric Berg YouTube channel. He have, you know, great quality information for anybody who's trying to learn the ketogenic diet. Also, you need to research the internet and find articles on the subject and read it. And also, you gotta experiment. You gotta also try to experiment with the diet and see what works for you, because everyone is different. Everybody have different circumstances and different craving and different social life, and you just have to try it and just, you know, keep at it. And of course, getting into an exercise regimen will, you know, speed up the weight loss and make it into a healthier weight loss as well. So 1 year of bad ketogenic advice made me gain 20 pounds. About 3 months of doing ketogenic the proper way with macro calculation and calorie calculation, I ended up losing 50 pounds without hardcore exercise, just general walking every now and then when I'm able to. So that's it for this video. Leave a comment, subscribe and share. And if you have any video ideas or question, leave them in the comment and I'll try to answer them or make a video about it, and we'll go from there. Take care now. See you next time.